that'll work, because then you can always grab it and throw it or whatever. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and start. Okay. So first thing I want to talk about, just some upcoming stuff real quick. Coach Camp, there's still $35 tickets available if you can go. It's the 22nd and 23rd. We're leaving probably around noon, but if you can't go on Friday, you can always come up late Friday night or come up early Saturday by yourself, or find people that are going up Saturday. It's an all-day thing and it'll be fun. It's definitely worth it. The training is awesome. So you need to talk to somebody, if it's your coach or myself or Tabitha or whoever, because there are still tickets available for the 35. VIP is sold out, but the rest of them are available. Also, Summit, I'm going to start a strain message, just on messages, or for people going to Summit, so we can be communicating when they start releasing, like, the information for, so we can all maybe be in the same training together, and at least on the same, like if it's silver or whatever the different ones are, so we can be in the same. So we'll be putting that together. And then also, if you are, I got a new coach that's trying to get on. If you're building, you want to make sure that, and I know Tabitha has a good group and we have a group going for Team Cup, but you want to make sure that you are in a group or of accountability of some kind. The page is there for the accountability, and I'd like to post more scripts and stuff on there for those of you that aren't in Message, so you can be doing that, but just be able to, be active with your coach. So one of the things I want to talk about is a little bit about consistency, but because I know that I'm in the group with Tabitha's coaches, I know that there's a lot of messages going out, and sometimes it can seem like it's very, very frustrating because it's ghosting and not doing that. But I listened to a training. I don't know how many of you listened to it, but she was talking about how you send and send and send and send. And I mean, take a second to give kind of, a lot of you guys that I'm in that group, a shout out, because I know it's a lot to send messages and get nothing. And like Carrie Folka just said, I kept that message up here but now of course it's gone because I've gotten 5 since then. But just saying that 1 out of 20 is frustrating, but that 1 is all that matters, because our job is to impact 1. If you listen to the motto of Beachbody, it's basically that one life changed. And when you compound that, it does get into that. I looked at my customer list today, and I think about all the people who have said yes to an opportunity and change their life. And that's after ghosting me for sometimes 2 years. And so, it is consistency. And I know sometimes you feel like you're talking to a wall, and sometimes you are, and sometimes they don't respond, and it's fine. But inviting people and sharing your journey are the 2 things that you do, and consistently doing them will happen. So, I'm so proud, because I know Jess is one who constantly questions herself, and am I doing this right? And I don't want to feel salesy, and I don't want to be spammy, but you just eventually, and we joked around about in the group, but in the video that I watched, the dam will break. Like, you send enough messages, and eventually what will happen is they will just start coming. I mean, I said I sent out 115 messages in 2 days to people, and the last 2 days and most of today, it has been like, like I cannot keep up with the people that are writing back just now. And this is people that I'm like, I literally haven't heard from them. It's frustrating because, I'm in the same boat. I've been doing this for 5 years, and it doesn't get easier when somebody's like, I'm interested, and then literally it's crickets for the next like 2 months. Like, you can't, and then all of a sudden it's that message. Oh, I meant to write you back. Yeah, I'm interested. Let's go. Okay. Well, it does suck. And I understand, because I'm in the same way. I do the same thing that you guys do. I really feel like it's super important. I'm making sure that, it's just super important to stay consistent. So the guidelines that whenever you first start are 5 to 10 a day. The more, the better. But 30 to 50 a week. And that's not just like, hey, do you want to join my challenge group? Hey, do you want to join my challenge group? It's not that. It is connecting with people. So each message may be different. Each message may be, obviously, some are going to be connecting, some are going to be, you've already connected with them, and now you're having that conversation. they always say when you get a person, so you have Susie that all of a sudden you're messaging, and immediately Susie goes into one of a category. She either goes into you're doing forming and you're just developing that relationship with her, or she's immediately into you're done forming her. So now she moves into the category where you're going to actually like start talking about the business or coaching. So they go into challengers or coaches too. And I think we automatically eliminate people from coaching. And I know we've talked a lot about this lately, but honestly, like most people should start off as coaches, in my opinion, because if they're going to hold it consistently, and this is what I talked to a girl today, I'm like, if you're going to do this, give yourself a year. You know, you don't have to order Shakeology every month if you don't want to. I advise it. I advise to drink it every day. But at the same time, like if you fall off a month, it's not the end of the world. Like, you know, but I feel like if we start them off that way, then they stay more consistent, because we all know we're consistent. Because why? Because we're coaches, and that's our job. Like we're supposed to be consistent. So you know, I feel like sharing and not spamming. I actually was just talking to a girl who was like, I you know, I've been spammed by like basically like she said I get messages like all the time, like we've talked about, from other companies, like, hey, you want to try this blah 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 thing or whatever it might be, and they have no clue what we do. If you took 1 second to look at my wall, you're going to know that I'm probably not interested in your fast acting fat burner pill, because if you look at my wall, you're going to know that. But if we're not taking the time to look at what people are doing and see where they're at in their life, then we should start building that relationship from the beginning. And that was what I've listened to like probably 10 trainings today, and all of them talk about that. Like our job and what separates us from the spammers is that we do care, and you're supposed to care. And that is why it's never felt dirty to me. It's never felt dirty to me to send an invite to somebody, because I'm trying to be invested. I'm trying to find out what it is that they're wanting. What are their goals? You know, what do they need? Do they need to make extra money? Then obviously, then you present the business opportunity to them right off the bat. But otherwise, discount coaching is good, you know, just as good. So, you know, you want to be inviting 5 to 10, 30 to 50 per week. And I think that, hold on 1 second. Whoops. I'm trying to, Tabitha, I think you have to mute people. I don't know.
Okay.
If I can.
I got it.
You mute? Okay. You can hear me though, right?
Yeah.
So reconnecting with at least 5 people a day, maybe differently than the invite, just reconnecting and putting daily deposits in. But I guess I just feel like the consistency of, and I think if you were on with Keith Callahan and you heard that call, you know that like our own journey is what separates us from just somebody who's not. I mean, it's easy for somebody to get on and be like, you know, oh, I sell this. But if we're not doing it ourselves, then we're never going to ever have that impact, because they've got to see us living our daily life and living through what we're talking about, through the struggles of, we're getting up early in the morning to get these workouts in. And I feel like, you know, I'm just as tired and I'm beat down and I'm frustrated because I roll my ankle and I feel like I'm 60 years old right now because I'm hobbling down the steps. But, you know, I'm going through that with them. And I just think it's important that they see your journey. And that takes the selling out of it. In my opinion, it takes the selling out of it. You should not have to sell something, because they're going to know, like, you know, Tabitha said earlier today, like they're like, oh, is it Beachbody? Well, if you know, if they're following you, they're going to know what you do, because that's what now they don't know maybe it's Beachbody, but they're going to know it's something health and fitness related because they're following you. And then, you know, talked about being a product of the product, but the biggest thing about what I wanted to say is just the consistency, the daily behaviors that you're doing. Personal development helps, but personal development should not be the only thing that you're doing. And if you're doing just personal development and you're not doing the actions, like if you're doing personal development, sometimes I do this to escape sending invites, then that you shouldn't be doing that. Like you should be doing whatever it is that, and personal development is like one of the easy things for me. I don't know how anyone else is, but it's like typically like the easiest thing for me to do, because I absolutely do not mind doing that. I hate sending invites. Like I still do. And I've been doing it for 5 years. So that's just something that's my frog. It's, I don't know, like I feel like sometimes because I do know I'm going to get crickets, it's still hard for me. And I don't think that, I mean, I don't want you to think, because I've had a couple of you message and be like, oh, like you and Tabitha are constantly like, ding, 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 ding. And we're like, back and forth, back and forth. And, but you're talking about 5 years for the most part of consistently showing up almost every day. Like at some form or another, they know that I am here doing this every day. There's been, obviously I went there when Brady graduated. You go through the dips and valleys like everybody else does, but they still know that you're here and you're doing it. And so if you're new and you're frustrated by the fact that you're not, you have to understand that that's part of the business, and that's part of, and you're going to hit it 5 years from now. You're going to hit it 10 years. There are coaches. I mean, I'm going to tell you, my coach, 10 years, and she still gets crickets from people, and that's just part of it. I mean, and I guess one of the trainings I listened to today that was so awesome is she talked about like that when you get the crickets, it's not, sometimes you're like, oh, like she's probably like, we tend to overanalyze it. Like, okay, she didn't respond. Oh, I bet she's like, oh gosh, here she is again. Like I play that out in my own head. Like I just sent a message and she looked at it and she hasn't said anything. And I'm like, oh. Like, I bet she's like so annoyed that I keep sending her messages. And she's probably like, oh geez, like, why don't she just leave me alone? Like, and so I start replaying this in my own head every time I do it. And then I stopped myself, and I heard this today, and I thought, and I just did it because it replayed in my head. And I this lady today said, the crickets just means they don't know what to say. Like they know that they're ready, and they know that they need to do something, because I've seen them post about needing to do something for quite a while. But either one, they don't have money, and they don't want to say, well, I don't have the money, which that's always seems like that's the easiest thing for people to say to me. Like, I don't have the money, but I see you go to Starbucks every day, driving to Edwardsville from Greenville and hitting Starbucks, and you're at Target, like like I'm sitting here, but that's always what they'll say. But if they don't want to say that, or maybe they know that they asked, but maybe, maybe they had a bad day, or maybe they got in a fight with their spouse, or maybe, they just spend a lot of money on something they shouldn't have, and they know that it sounds like an excuse, and so they don't answer you. And so and I've had people say that, like, oh, I know, I avoided you for so long. And it's not because I didn't want to do it. It's just because, like, I knew that I was getting ready to go on vacation, or I knew that I had this coming up, and I just thought, well, I'll message her later, and never did, and I mean, there's people in my life that I talk to every day that I'm like, shoot, I forgot to write her back, or I forgot, like, it happens. And so instead of like playing it out in your own head, just let it be what it is, which is a great unknown, and you don't know what it is. I just think we are our own, and we say it all the time, we're our own worst enemies. Get out of our own head, get out of our own way, and just quit analyzing every little thing that happens. Because I mean, you're going to have people that are going to get offended. You're going to have people that are going to, be like, well, if she was the last person on earth, I mean, it happens. And just because someone doesn't like you doesn't mean that if you sign a coach, they may not sign up with them. I mean, that happens all the time. I have people who I've had under me, and, maybe, or like I've been messaging, and they just connect better with somebody else. You have to be okay with that.
There you are.
Because my daughter's in the house, and she's calling me. Like, really? And she'll probably do it again, because she'd rather do that than walk down the stairs. But anyway, I just want to say, like, it's not that it's hard. takes everything in me to sit down and do it because it's just how I am, at that time. And a lot of it is me, it's where I'm at. But so doing the daily behaviors, sending the invites, and I do like I'm you guys in that message group, I'm so proud of you because I mean I'm in boot camp in the morning and I'm literally hearing like ding, my phone's going off and I'm like, oh, there's those brave and bold people sending their invites, doing their stuff. And so, I love it because I know that you're doing it and I know that you're doing those and it will break. Like the more consistent you are, the dam will break. And all of a sudden you're going to find yourself with a lot of people who are going to entrust in you for their health and fitness, and they're going to know that you're going to be there because you're not going to quit. And this isn't about money. This isn't, granted, we all know, yes, we make money and we like the money that we make, obviously, but when people know that that's not what it is, that you're going to follow up with them a year from now, 2 years from now. If you don't hear them, you're going to be like, where are you? Like, what's going on? But so I just really think that it's important that you guys know that I think you're doing the daily habits and you're doing awesome at it. And I'm just proud of you and everything that you're doing because I see you, on social media and you're sharing your journey and you're sharing your life. And that is what this business is about. That is what separates this business, I feel like, from any other thing that I have ever done or been a part of in my life, or even the things that I watch on a daily basis. Because, we see a lot of stuff because that's what social media is. But anyway, so I'm going to kind of open it up because I was going to let Tabs do some talking if she has service.
Yes, I think so.
Having to drive down the road.
Not yet. Okay, so yes, everything Jamie said is spot on. And I love how she said the great unknown. Like, just let it be. Like, let the no answer be, because we can sit there and assume and think that we can like almost try to judge the situation, but like it's silly. It's so silly because we're never going to know why. So you just keep rolling on. So I want to talk to you guys just a little bit, a few things I jotted down because I thought of this week. Like I said, and like Jamie said, you guys are freaking doing it. Okay. So I could go around to each person and I could tell you each what you're doing and what you're expanding on and what you've already expanded on. And so I thought about this week when I was talking to Jessica, and I'm thinking, I always have said this from the beginning because I remember Christina Sullins, saying, there's a few things that I remember Christina Sullins saying. And one of them is, and I'm going to talk about another one here in a second, is like, be bold. I remember at my first coach camp, I think it was, she said, be bold and send the message. Like, don't jack around, be bold and ask the question. And so that always stuck out to me because I think that's just me. That's how I am. I'm just shooting it out there. And so there's different like phases of being bold. So right now, like, you guys have been working on things that are out of your comfort zone. So you've been working on, like, I know a couple of you are wanting to post more because you need to work on your posts and that that's what's lacking for you in your business. And then some of you are doing invites that like still feel uncomfortable and they still feel like you don't exactly know what to say and you don't know if you should be sending it to that person because, or whatever. And so think about all the things that you're doing already. And you should never think that you shouldn't be sending it to somebody, but I know how it can be sometimes when you send it. And so think about how you're being bold right now, and think about committing. And this is the other thing that Christina said that has always stuck out in my mind. And Christina has changed so much in her business, I feel like. So a lot of the things she says now are just so much different than they used to be. But anyhow, because there's a perfect example, because we're all growing and changing and continuously pouring into ourselves. And if that's one way I could describe this to somebody, so there's been a couple people on Instagram today that had said they don't have Facebook. Because what I've been doing is I've been transferring them straight over to Facebook as quick as I can, because I'm going to have them in 2 places now. They're going to see me double time. So and then I'm trying to get them in my coach group, right? And I'm trying to tag them in my videos. I'm asking them if they will join me in that and if I can tag them. So a couple people have said, no, I don't have Facebook. So I'm thinking, okay, I want to send a couple short clips of me explaining it in a way that's not going to be overwhelming, and it's not going to be like blah, 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 blah. Okay. So I basically just said, if I could think of one thing on this earth that could give me the tools to pour into myself, to continuously each day focus on me, completely transform from the inside out, and then of course pour into others and empower other women to see their own greatness and do amazing things and see their potential, it would be this. And so I felt like it's just, and I think you got to paint the picture for people. You really truly have to show people that, like, because it's just so much more beyond fitness. They could go on YouTube and get a fitness program. I mean, I wouldn't advise it because there's no calendar and there's nothing, but I had a girl the other day that was like, I really can do stuff on my own. I'm really good at coming up with my own workouts. And I'm thinking, really? Like, doesn't that get boring? Or doesn't that get like, don't you just want to take the guesswork out of it? You know, you're going to get every excuse under the sun. But anyhow, back to what I was saying about Christina. She said, you know, commit to being here in 5 years, like commit to that. And I think about if I would have quit, I think about if I would have quit when it got hard and when I felt like, and I did it last night. I told Carrie and Jessica, I did it last night. There's a girl that is at the same rank as me and she's amazing. I have to admit, she's amazing. She'll be at the leadership, this weekend. She's doing this full time now. She's just awesome. And she says things in a way sometimes, and I don't always connect with her, but I watched her video last night and I'm just like, it sort of made me think like it made me think about myself. Okay. Because if you don't keep your eyes on your own lane and you don't just focus on what you're doing, because you're doing the best that you can do, right? You're doing your post the best that you can do. And like I shared today, the reason I shared that about that post is because I don't know, the words weren't coming to me this morning, but I wanted you guys to know that I still don't sometimes know what to say. I'm struggling. I don't know. It's not in me today to put it out there. And so I want you guys to know that it doesn't necessarily have to be the best post. It never does. It never has to be the exact words, but somebody is going to see your consistency and somebody is going to think it's awesome. Because they're not comparing you with anybody else because you're the only person on their feed that's showing up or whatever the case is. They're not comparing you because they've maybe never had another coach. Like they think you're awesome because you're you and because you're showing up. So anyways, I want you guys to think about, and I think about, like I said, if I would have quit, like where would I be in my life if I would have just gave up on something because it got hard? So commit to being here in 5 years. Like where will you be when you are going through those phases of bold? So in 6 months, and Coach Camp's going to light your fire. It just is. So think of all the work you're doing now. Think of the stuff that you already know, that you've already learned, that you've already changed since you've started. And I'm still tweaking stuff. Jamie's still tweaking stuff. Christina's still tweaking stuff, like systems and implementing new things that coaches are like, think of this brilliant idea. And then we're like, oh, okay, that would be great. Like, why didn't I think of that? And sometimes we're just trying to focus so much on building our business and messaging that we don't sit around a lot of times and think we're not trying to recreate the wheel because it's duplication and we don't want to. I don't want to recreate it. I don't have time. I legit don't have time. So anyways, think about what your bold is now. And I want you to think about, and I want you to watch and watch yourself grow with that phase. Because we can all like just see that sort of like that line going as we go. And you guys are doing it. It's amazing. I don't know what has really had us take off. I was thinking about this the other day because I'm like, oh my gosh, what would I say if I were asked like, okay, how did I get my team to, or our team to really push and go and fly and run and not second guess all these things and just do it? And I think part of it is that like when we're on fire, like fire creates fire. Okay. So if if you guys are all messaging, what does that do? That inspires the other people on your team to message. Because if you find coaches and you're not doing the work, they ain't doing the work. I'm just telling you, because it's hard enough. Let's be real. It's hard. It can be hard, and I'm not being negative, but it can be difficult to find people who want this as bad as you. So you have to do the things. And so, and I just think it's because we just have an amazing group of people who are, you know, just really fired up about an amazing opportunity. And the other thing too, and like Jamie said, it takes 2 years, it takes 4 years for people to jump. And it's those consistent messages over time that add up to be huge. So I literally have messaged a couple people lately and I've said, I totally do not want to run this topic in the ground. I don't want you to ever think that I'm trying to run this into the ground, but I want you to know that I think you're awesome. I think you would love this, whatever. And there's a girl that I just messaged before I got on here, and she's continuously posting. She just paid for a year of going to Kim Lipe. Okay. She got it for Christmas. She was going to jump in with me. And then her husband bought her a year with Kim Lipe. Whatever. If that's your jam, perfect. Great. I'm happy for you. I hope that is exactly what, you know, you need. But she's continuously posting positive things. So I reached out to her today, but she's not posting about her fitness. She's not posting about results. I'm not seeing anything about that. And I said, hey, I just want you to know that, you know, I think your posts are amazing. You're positive. You're influencing people every single day with your posts. And I would love it, you know, if you would want to check out like my coaching opportunity. I have 3 videos that I've created, and I never want to run this topic in the ground. I just want you to know that I think you would love it. And she was like, I appreciate your comment so much. Like, thank you so much. There's so much negativity, blah, blah, blah. Whatever. People are thankful that you're like giving them a compliment most of the time. They're not like, oh my gosh, like, ugh. Because, and if they are, who cares? I really don't care, because like, I don't care. So you got to get to that point. You got to get to the point where you're just going to continuously be that person who's going to be there for somebody, no matter if they say yes or no. They could say no to me 20 times and I'm still going to check in with them, and I'm still going to message them, because I know it's not personal. I know that it's just that we don't know. Again, we don't know why. We're not going to sit around and try to guess whether they're mad or upset or bitter or they don't have the money or whatever. So, that's really all I think I was going to,
And I will add, because I saw your thing about your posts, and here's something that, and I haven't had a chance to even say it in there, but I think I can say it here. Sometimes it's just like I have one that it's still sitting because I haven't even been able to finish it, but basically it's just saying like, there's nothing I can say about it. Like, I got it done. And that's saying a lot. Like, you don't have to have every post be some earth-shattering, soul-searching. It can be literally a fist, 2 fist bumping, high five. I showed up today, and you're sitting over there talking about negativity of politics, but I showed up today. It doesn't have to be, you know, like, honestly, like I think, and I honestly think sometimes people sometimes they just want to look at your post and be like, she did it today. They don't want this earth-shattering, like, oh, and I had this, you know, epiphany that I can do hard things. Because obviously one post out of, you know, so many of those, you know, because it's like I watch people, and there's sometimes where I'm just like, really? You just had that struggle of getting out of the bed yesterday and the day before and the day before. Let's be real. It's hard as hell to get out of bed some days. Every day. What am I saying? Every day. But I did just get a message too, by the way. Haley Wallerman won their first round of regional. Vandalia won tonight. So we have to play them Wednesday. So that regional plays. Yeah. But anyway, Hannah just came down and said Vandalia won. So that was awesome. But anyway, I just think it's just like you say, just showing up to your people, and yeah, it is. And I don't know, like, I mean, you know, because I was just talking about your guys' message actually with one of the coaches that I'm friends with on our team. And I was just saying, you know, it's just great. And I do think that, like, that's perfectly said, fire creates fire, but it's also that you guys are building the confidence that you can do it. And I know that sometimes it doesn't always come out in Success Club. Sometimes it's, I just want the BOD. And I really think that even if you don't get Success Club, you still need to say, hey, I sold Energize today. I had someone commit to Energize. I had someone commit to that. Sending out 10 invites deserves 2 fist bumps. I mean, that deserves big props that you're doing that. And I'm trying to find a place because I know that it's just that constant accountability. I know that you guys have it in the group, but I think it's important for people to see that everyone is sending out those invites, and as long as you're doing that, that is half the journey, because people, they may not respond, but eventually they're going to reach out, and you just want to know that you're going to be the one. And it is, I never have questioned, okay, there's been times in this business, and actually today, honestly, was one of them. And what Tabitha said really resonated with me, because I've been listening to a lot of trainings, and I've been doing this for 5 years. Now, granted, I started off running, and then it's that whole, you reach a thing, and then you're just kind of like, okay, I did it. I'm a diamond. Now what? And then it's no longer you. You're having to trust someone else wants to be you, wants to build as hard as you are. And so, when you're doing that, like, I can create my own empire in my own business. That's all I can do. I can't create an empire in Tabitha's, because it's Tabitha that has to want it. And that's never been a problem. But you can't, and that's why they say, like, you don't want to pursue somebody that isn't you, because you will beat your head against a wall trying to make somebody who you want them to be and who you want to run a business with, because it just doesn't work that way. You want to be a family. You want to be blended. I've seen coaches who, I think it was a while ago, but I remember Lindsay Gray had somebody under her where she was just literally like, you want to part ways, because you just can't run something with people that aren't like you. But finding somebody that has that same fire with you, and when you have that, it's tremendous. It really is. And it's fun to watch. Like, it's fun for me to get to see those messages and for see you guys going back and forth and doing all that. So I do think that that's such a growth thing, but it is from the inside out. You're developing confidence, you're building your own self. And when people see that, like, that is what is that fire. You see that confidence in people, and I'm like, okay, you got it. Like, that's pretty awesome. You're doing great in that. And there was something else I was just thinking of whenever I was talking about that. But, I had that same thing where it's like, you cannot look sideways. And because at the stage of life I am, I have kids that are in sports. And so when I'm at basketball games, several nights a week, it's kind of like, and then I get home and I have to be up at 4, and I'm not up until, I can't be up until 1, because it doesn't work for me. And so when I look at people that are like doing this, I'm just like, oh, like, I'm just, I start questioning, okay, why am I doing this? I actually said today, I was just kind of like, why am I doing this? 5 years in, I still have to remember my why. Like, why am I doing this? And yeah, there's money and there's promotions, but really it's because of the kind of person that I've become from doing this. It has completely changed me from the inside out. And I don't want to give that up ever. And so even when things are hard, you're going to stay, because I believe in this company. I believe in the products. I believe in you guys. I believe in our team. I love our team. I think it's fun. I'm looking forward to Summit, and I'm looking forward to Coach Camp and all these fun things that we're going to do. And you guys got to start getting on these dang trips, because just hanging out with Tabitha and Aaron is really killing me. Just kidding.
You guys do, though. I was thinking that. You guys, y'all need to sign up. 2020.
Yeah. Has anyone done that? Has anyone signed up to be on the wait list? Anyone?
I'm still not off the wait list. Is that weird?
That is weird, because you've hit.
Yeah. I need to look, though. I need to make sure. I didn't see it in my email. I'm like, crap.
Yeah, because you only have so many days.
I know.
They release it, because I was having a panic attack because I thought I missed the deadline.
Yeah.
But yeah, you need to check it.
I need to check on that when I get off of here.
You need to
okay, let's do a quick picture, and then we can. Want to?
Yeah.
Want to?
You have to send it to me, because I don't have it on my computer.
I feel like I'm terrible at taking these. Okay. Cheese. You get one shot. Very good. You guys are so awesome.
You get one shot. I feel like I look tired all the time. Like,
yeah, I feel like I do too. Okay, y'all. Yeah. I'm going to send a couple messages before bed, and then I'm calling it a night.
All right. Okay. Good job, guys.
Way to go, team.
Awesome.
Keep pushing.
All right.
20 invites before bed.
Question
Just kidding.
for Tabitha.
Yes. What'd you say? Question for me? Am I frozen? Oh boy. Can anybody see me? Hello?